Hey y'all, welcome to the Messy Studio. Come on in and see what's going on. Welcome back. More craziness going on, but you know, that's okay. As promised, this week I'm going to refurb this old birdhouse. So come along with me and see what we get done. First thing I need to do is take it apart, and then I'll take the nails out of it. But I'm planning on using the existing nail holes for the screws, so I want to make sure that I mark up and match the inside before I take it apart and label what goes where, like on this base here. So what I will do is mark a one here, a two here. Now let's go clockwise. 3 and 4. And I'll mark A on this one, and it goes up against A on this one.
And then the inside of this one here goes to 1, with 4 being in the back, 3 being over here, and 2 being right there. And I'll mark B, and B, and C, and C, and D, and E. This is E, this is D.
This is glued in good, so I'm gonna have to hand sand around this, but that's all right too. Now you're probably asking yourself, Billy, why are you going through all that trouble to rebuild that instead of just building a new one? And it's a fair question, but the answer is pretty simple. That's what my wife wants. Our son made this when he was in junior high, one of our sons, and she's really sentimental about such things. So before I can run these through the sander, I'm going to run them all through the sander at the same time, the painted edge anyway, and the bottom. And before I can do that, I need to glue this back together. In case you missed previous videos where I've done this, I'm putting the tape on my clamps so any squeeze out will get on the tape and not on the clamp, so don't have to clean them up later. It just makes it easier. And you don't want to clamp it so hard that you starve the joints. That wouldn't be good. Now, I'll let those dry overnight and then sand them up. Alright, let's get these sanded up. Got my filtration unit running. Got my RZ dust mask on. Don't be fooled by those cheap imitations, people. Use the good ones. The RZ is definitely worth the money. I don't trust those cheaper ones you can get on Amazon at all. And if you read the reviews, you won't either. I don't have to get all of this paint off. I've just got to rough this enough so the new paint will stick. Got the sanding done. Now I'll start looking at putting it back together. Got to gather my screws. Got my new MERV 11 filters for my air filtration unit in. These MERV 11 is what they are, and they're like fine micron, so it'll get even more of the particles out. What I'm going to do is I'm going to use this. This is a 10 pack. It was like $57, so not too bad for the quality of the filter that it is. So I'm going to use these as my secondary layer, and I'll keep using the cheap ones as the primary. So let me get one of these in. It's relatively easy to see the difference in quality. This is the intake side of each, and this is the outtake side of each. The only support on these is this little wire mesh. And these filters, aside from having a thinner cloth that you can actually see light through, quite a bit of light through, these are nearly translucent. These have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 folds. And these have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 folds. So it's all in all, it's just a much finer, much better quality filter. Alright, got them in. It sounds like the motor's having to work just a little bit harder. This is pulling in a little bit farther, like if it was like if the filter was really dirty. So it restricts the airflow a little bit, but that's to be expected. Doesn't seem to be causing an adverse reaction on the motor. I have discovered when this filter gets full and the airflow gets restricted to a certain point, the motor has a thermocouple in it, and it will, when it gets a little warm, it shuts off. So at that point I know it's time to turn it off, let it cool down, and clean the filter or replace it. But that's a small price to pay concerning the safety and health of mine and your lungs. Even if you're going to just build, like if you've watched Izzy's test between his Win air cleaner, which is a really good air cleaner for the price, and his homemade box air cleaner, just by strapping 2 filters to it, the difference in what they actually do isn't that significant. Both pull about the same amount of air, and they both trap the the fine particles. So even if you're going to build a simple one with a box fan, check out these. I would probably use the 24x24s. If you haven't seen Izzy's review, I'll put a link to it right up here, and I'll put a link to where I found these filters on Amazon in the description below. So even if you're going to use a box fan, use these good filters. It'll get more of this fine stuff out of the air. That is important for our safety as woodworkers. We only have 2 lungs, and when particulate matter gets in them, very often it stays there, and it can be an accumulative effect. None of us want COPD or emphysema or whatever. So a word to the wise. Always, when I'm filming, always. All right. Put a countersinking these. Drill these out a little bit. I'm only gluing this to seal primarily to seal the end grain here. I have got to get me a proper woodworking vise. I'm only using drywall screws. I'm going to paint it real good so they don't rust. At least that's the plan. I'm not being real exact. This isn't lined up very square because when my son built it, he didn't have it lined up very square. And I don't care. I want it to look like it did when he finished it. I'm just putting it back together to make it functional. I want to try to use the original nail holes, but he kind of went crooked. The grain's just running all kinds of whatever way it wants to. That's crazy. That's my son for you. Now the front goes on like that. Unmatching grain direction and everything. This is nuts. Either his shop teacher didn't notice or didn't care. I guess maybe he figured since it was going to be painted it wouldn't matter. Now I'm not going to glue the roof on at all. I'm just going to use screws because I want to be able to get into it and clean it out if they do use it. If I line up his nail holes, everything misses. And I mean everything. So I'm going to drill new holes. It's not perfect and it's not gorgeous, but it doesn't matter. My son made it. Now I'll let this glue dry overnight and in the morning put a coat of primer on it and look around and see what colors of paint I have and paint it up. I'm not going to paint the inside at all. Okay, let that dry overnight and then put my first finish coat on. Well, I should be singing the brain song again because I forgot to prime the top. How brilliant was that? I'm a genius. I'm so bright, my mama calls me son. Now I'll go rinse my brush again and I'm done with the priming. Okay, got the paint mixed up with my handy dandy stirrer. Man, if you don't have one of these, you gotta get one. Good stuff, Maynard. I know it's fan noise, but I gotta get me a good stiff breeze going to keep the skeeters away. It's that time of year and I hate mosquitoes. They love the crap out of me though. I'm getting nearly as much paint on me as I am the birdhouse. Oh, important note here. I'm screwing the top on and leaving it unglued and the screws will be open to the elements. And it doesn't take a rocket scientist to figure out that I could easily have a rusty screw problem. So I ordered, so I'll probably be using them because I remember I told you I'm going to build more of these. So I ordered a box of 100 stainless steel wood screws, number 8s, 1.5 inches, I figured that'll do the trick. I reckon so too, Billy. That's what I thought. If and I was a smart man, I would have worn gloves, like latex gloves or something. Or my nitrile, so I wouldn't end up with paint all over my hands.
If I were a smart man, yabba-dabba-dabba-dibba-dibba-dabba-dum, all day long I dibby-dibby-dum. If I were a smart man.
Let that dry, and then come back and put on coat 2. Scored some wood the other day. This was being thrown out. I can't tell with the stain on this. This was a futon, a high-end futon, but I can't tell from the stain on it whether this is sapele or mahogany. Either way, I don't care. This will make some beautiful segmented bowls. There's quite a bit of it. Okay, let's put coat 2 on. And my phone's blowing up. Of course, I'm in the shop working, that's why. There's every time. Alright, we'll let that dry and put it together and go hang it. Okay, it's all dry. It's been so humid here, the paint is still pretty sticky. So here it is, hung up in its place, waiting on its new occupants. You can hear some of the songbirds that I've got around here in the background. This is my backyard. Little deck. Nice terraced yard. A lot to mow. Surrounded by woods all the way around. I absolutely love it. Thanks for watching. I really appreciate it. Please like, subscribe, share, all that social media stuff. I'll leave links to my email and my website down below. My next project is to finish this octopus that I've started. We'll see how that goes. And I've just recently disassembled a futon made of either sapele or mahogany. I can't really tell with the stain on it, but I'm going to prepare all of that for some segmented bowl coming down the stretch. I've got to get my dust collection in first. I'm working on that too. So I appreciate it. Thanks for sticking with me. Y'all come back.